Good morning. Sarah here. How are you all doing this morning? We're expecting some big storms this afternoon, but I don't mind. We need the rain, and I love being out in the weather. So I was dog walking this morning. I was just standing in the wind. The wind was really howling, and the rain was beginning to come in. It's not as bad yet as it's supposed to be getting, and the trees were blowing and crows were flying, and I thought how wonderful it is to be out in this weather, to feel those elements, the wind, the air element, the element of water, the earth element, with where I'm walking and the ground that I'm walking on and the trees. And when I get home, I have the element of fire that keeps my house warm. And it's wonderful to be able to work with all of these elements. I did a short video quite a long time ago, actually, and I might revisit it and perhaps redo it because the lighting wasn't great and the sound wasn't great, but called Fire is the Teacher, and about how we can work with fire to bring up some realizations and some indications about our lives generally, really, and who, how we live our lives. Anyway, welcome. Please like and subscribe. And I was just, as I was out in the weather today, I was just thinking every day gives a miracle, brings in a miracle in some way. And today I really felt that the elements were speaking to me. They were just buffeting me about, and that in itself is a miracle. That for me, I have time to do this, to be aware, to be out in the elements. But you don't have to, be out on a dog walk necessarily. You can just be aware on a day-to-day basis of what's going on around you. And yesterday I had an amazing encounter with a heron, and animal totems or animal spirit animals are another fabulous way of speaking to what medicine we might need at the time. And it's not every animal that you come across, like everybody's dog or every bird in your garden, but sometimes animals have a way of showing up in unusual circumstances or behaving in an unusual way. And yesterday I was driving down to Llanidloes, and there were very few cars on the road, and as I was driving along and just looking at the countryside, suddenly this, I think it was a young heron, took off right on the side of me, flew in front of my windscreen, and really at the height of the roof of my car, I guess, down the road in front of me, very gracefully, very slowly, for a good way. I mean, it must have been, I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeless on distances. At least half a mile, I should think. It seemed to be there forever, as if we were in this kind of not of this world. We were just moving. I was following this graceful heron's path down the road where there were no other cars on the road, and it was just amazing. And I thought, how unusual, how strange. Maybe it was a young bird and it just didn't know where it was going or what it was doing, but eventually it kind of veered off and went back down to the river. And I thought I'd use it to illustrate how animals and birds and reptiles even can speak to us on a spiritual level. So what do herons represent? So you would look at the way they live their lives, their habitats. So they're very much birds that stand in water, stand on the land, are in the air. So they're using all of these elements. And when they're fishing, they stand incredibly still and upright, just focused on the water, waiting for a fish to come close enough that they might suddenly dart and with their sharp bills catch a fish. And so the standing still speaks to me of patience and stillness. And in our lives, we might want to trust our intuition, trust the timing in things, knowing that now is not the time to move, and that we're able to stand alone sometimes when it's needed, and be comfortable in our solitude. And I very much feel, it was speaking to me, this heron, about, I like to use myself as examples, but, obviously it would be slightly different in everybody's lives. But, the heron, I felt, had something to say to me, or to bring up this thought. And it has very long legs, so it's able to balance and be very stable and graceful, and just stand there in this beautifully poised position, calm, balanced, ready for the kill, if you like. And the fact that it, is a water bird, it, flies, obviously, and it stands on the land. It's very much representing the transition between worlds, that it can move and bring messages between realms, really, the physical and the spiritual. So that was very poignant for me. And this particular heron was most definitely leading my path. It was guiding me down the road. Flying low suggests probably proceeding with care. So it was slow and low and stopping me from rushing. I actually had to slow my car down in order not to hit it, if you like, because it was that close to me. It was really just in front of the car, so I had to slow down quite a lot. And that thought has been in my mind. I'm one that tends to rush to do everything. I'm rushing to feed Mum. I'm rushing to do the washing up. I'm rushing to take Rafi for a walk. I'm rushing to try and find some time to do these short videos. I'm rushing to go and do some shopping before Mum wakes up. And so that was very poignant for me, that this heron it made me slow down. I physically had to slow the car down in order to follow it. And the fact that it was low is perhaps suggesting that I need to be more grounded, not so quite up in my head as I have been fairly recently, worry, anxiety, a little bit of stress in there. So just a reminder to slow and steady and be grounded. I actually bought myself an earthing sheet a couple of weeks ago, but that's another story. So that helps me, especially in the winter, when I'm not able to go outside barefoot, to ground me at night, to earth me at night. So that's releasing some of the energy that I'm sort of perhaps holding on to. So the heron was getting my attention. So it was a call of awareness, to just be aware of what I'm doing, and what it represents. So am I being asked to move more patiently, more gracefully, if you like? Am I trusting my inner wisdom? Do I need balance and solitude and connection? Am I on a journey that is enduring and evolving? So is my life evolving as we go? So this call to awareness, to just be a little bit more mindful of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So this dagger-like beak, if you like, is very much about precision striking. So maybe I have something, my patience is holding me in good stead to just trust timing, and then to be ready when the opportunity arises to be able to swoop in and take advantage of that opportunity, or that something might come in fast for me, or whatever way you might think that it's relevant to you. So yeah, so I really felt it was about an active readiness to stand for long periods of time and act with swift precision. So I hope that illustrates for you how an unusual encounter might encourage you to look at, firstly, the habitat of the animal in question and how it lives its life, its physical appearance, because that's usually very indicative of its medicine, and how we can interpret that in our own lives, for that particular point in time. So maybe the relevance of the heron won't be applicable to me in 2 weeks' time, or it might not have been in last year. But I really felt that it had a lot to say to me yesterday, and it was very much food for thought. So I sat out in the garden this morning doing my short pilgrimage. Well, not really a pilgrimage, a ritual of just sitting out in nature and allowing things to come in. And that's what came in for me this morning, was that Heron was saying, trust the timing, trust my intuition, stand gracefully in that place and wait, because something is going to come in fast. So, yeah, do drop me a comment if you feel that you've had an encounter that sparked some inquiry with you. And this medicine is all about curiosity, curious that nature might be speaking to us in some way. So please drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you if you find that you've had a really interesting encounter with nature in some way. So, ciao for now. See you all again soon.